Okay, hello everybody. Today we're here at my home field of Whiskey Bravo Whiskey, Wilkes-Barre, Wyoming Valley, in JPLogistics Cessna 152. We have a 20 nautical mile flight to Hotel Zulu Lima, Hazleton Regional, and as you can see, it's nighttime, so that will bring its own unique challenges for this flight. We'll be staying entirely in first person in this flight inside of the cockpit so that you can have the experience of night flight along with me. It should be an awesome flight, so let's hop into the pilot seat and get started. Alright, I've got my red headlamp turned on. This is actually a mod. Check out the video details if you'd like to download it. I've added some night lighting here to Whiskey Bravo Whiskey, and I'm slowly building up this home field. So we'll start by opening up the window. We'll head down here and we'll check that all of our switches are off. Our parking brake is set. There we go. Our circuit breakers are all in. Mixture is to idle cutoff. Our trim, we'll check down here for the trim wheel, is set to takeoff. That all looks good. And the fuel shutoff switch for the C152 is on the floor here, and it's a little bit hard to see in the dark, but we've got it. So that looks good. We'll check that the prop area is clear. It is. We'll get the mixture into full rich. Head over here and prime it. Crack the throttle. Next we'll turn on the battery master and the alternator. We'll get the beacon on. Clear prop. Alright, feet are on the brakes. Keys are in the ignition. And we'll crank it over. Alright, got a good start. Oil pressure looks good. We're at 1,000 RPM. We'll lean at the mixture for ground operations. We'll head down here to the lights, get on the panel lights. Up to the radios, we'll turn on the avionics. See we're slant alpha today, no GPS to help us out. AVP's ATIS is not in liveatc.net, so we'll cheat a little and set the altimeter to field elevation, then set that up in the autopilot. We'll get our window closed and latched. We have a heading bug, so we can set that up to our heading to get us to Hazleton. Next, we'll look around, make sure that everything is clear, and make our CTAF call. Wyoming Valley traffic, Cessna 565 Whiskey, taxi from the ramp to runway 25, hold short, Wyoming Valley. Okay, we tested our brakes, they work. And now we're going to look for the taxi line. When taxiing at night, as soon as you get out of a well-lit area, to keep on track, you gotta follow the taxi line. And I can see it just up ahead on the right, so we're going to jog over to the right. We're coming up to the hold short for runway 927, which is the grass strip. Wyoming Valley traffic, Cessna 565 Whiskey, crossing runway 927, Wyoming Valley. And I can just see the windsock left of the strut here, so it's indicating 25. So we're going to stop here and get on our strobes because we're about to enter 25 for back taxi. We'll also do our run up here. So we're back taxiing on 25. You can see we've got an almost full moon, which actually helps with night flying because it lights up things, which is nice. We're going to turn around here at the turnaround point for 25, being careful not to taxi into the grass. Wyoming Valley traffic, Cessna 565 Whiskey departing runway 25. We'll be doing a left crosswind departure to the south at 5,500 Wyoming Valley. Alright, airspeed's alive, gauges look good. Feeling a little squirrely here on the ground. Got a decent crosswind, and we're up, and whoa! That was a little wild. Let's get ourselves stabilized back over the runway here. I really got blown to the right there. You can see the windsock off to our right. Alright, that's looking better. So we're going to keep an eye on our airspeed and track our heading. Now that we've cleared the field, I've toggled COM1 over to 120.905, which is Wilkes-Barre approach. Wilkes-Barre International, or AVP, is a Class Delta, but it's surrounded by a Tersa. So we don't need to talk to approach because it's a Tersa, it's optional. There is AVP just over my shoulder there, you can see the blinking lights. However, if we want to talk to approach, we can pick up services like flight following. To keep this video short, I'm just going to monitor 120.905. On COM 2, we've got CTAF for Hazleton. As we get closer, I'll just toggle my mic over to COM 2 so I can monitor both frequencies. Those string of lights off my nose at the 10 o'clock position are the road that we're looking for. So we're going to follow Interstate 81, which will take us directly to Hazleton. You can see that it looks like it's broken, and that's because there's terrain. There's a mountain in our way, so it's important to know the elevation of everything when you're flying at night. Behind us you can see the well-illuminated area of Wilkes-Barre, or Wilkes-Barre, depending upon which part of Wyoming Valley you live in. You'll hear me say Wilkes-Barre. And off to our left here, we've got that great, almost full moon, giving us some extra illumination to see the terrain by. Alright, we're at our cruising altitude of 5,500. The tiles for this area on the sectional go up to 3,100, so we'll be well clear of any terrain. Pattern altitude for Hazleton is 2,600, so we've got a bit of a descent to do once we get the field in sight. Right now we've got 81 directly off the left side of my nose, and we are right on track. And up ahead I can just start to see the lights of Hazleton. It's another well-illuminated area like Wilkes-Barre, so it's easy to point the nose towards it and know where you're going. On the VFR sectional just west of the field is the intersection of Interstate 80 and Interstate 81. That should look like a cross of lights in the night. And if I peer around Monica in the airframe here, there it is. So I can see the X of lights where the two interstates come together. So I must be getting close to the field. We're going to toggle our mic over to COM 2. You'll see the yellow box change there. So now we are still listening to the same channels, but transmitting on COM 2, which is Hazleton CTAF. Hazleton traffic 565 Whiskey, 3 miles north of the field at 4,200 will be overflying midfield at 3,000 inbound for full stop, Hazleton. Alright, and there is the field. So we're going to overfly midfield and hope that the windsock is illuminated and that we can see it. Runway 28 is right traffic and 10 is left traffic, so either way we're going to end up on the north side of the field. And I was able to spot the windsock, which is illuminated, and pointed us to runway 10. So we're going to maneuver back and enter the crosswind, the left crosswind for 10. Like all of the airports around the Wyoming Valley, you've got terrain everywhere to deal with, so I'm glad that we ended up on 10 because there's rising terrain on the approach end of 28, and we don't have to deal with that for 10, but we do have to deal with the mountain that's just off to our right here. So I have to be careful when I'm flying the pattern and be aware of the terrain that's off to the right side of the downwind here. So make our CTAF call. Hazleton traffic, Cessna 565 Whiskey, left downwind runway 10, full stop, Hazleton. And it's pretty hard to see the runway lights when you're flying parallel to the runway. It's not until you're perpendicular that the lights show up. It's a little easier to see the taxi lights actually than the runway lights when you're on the side of them. So I'm going to use the heading indicator to help me out because I know the heading of the runway. So if I fly that heading, I'll maintain a parallel course. Drop in my first notch of flaps here and turn on to the base leg. Hazleton traffic, Cessna 565 Whiskey, left base, runway 10, full stop, Hazleton. Alright, so now that we're on the base leg and perpendicular to the runway, it's much easier to see the runway lights and makes things a lot easier to line up with. This is a fairly well illuminated area here as we're rolling out onto final. And I overshot this, so we're a little unstabilized on approach and a bit high, but high is better than low because I can fix that by pulling the power and dropping in all of the flaps to bring us down. And that was a nice gentle touchdown. Bad approach, good touchdown. Alright, as we clear the runway here, I'm going to turn off the strobe lights and put the transponder back to standby. Turn on my headlamp so I can see what we're doing. This is the default version of Hazleton, but I did add night lighting to it because it was pitch black, like many of the airports in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Alright, up by the hangars here, looks like a good spot. We'll turn in here, park, and get everything shut down. Turn off all of our lights and switches. Mixture 2 idle cutoff. Alright, that was a lot of fun. That really captured the flavor of what night flying feels and looks like. I would say that in real life, roads are a bit better lit than they are in the sim. So here's an example of a real life flight over Binghamton. I was wondering what's blinking. It's my the reflection from my headset.
A little pan back over here. I have no idea if these are good shots.
I wouldn't worry about it.
I'll literally take 1,000,000 photos as I'm recording.
On the other hand, things like trees or grass really are pitch black at night, and when you are flying over them, you are flying over a black hole of featureless terrain. It makes it hard to judge your altitude and attitude, and you need to rely on your instruments a lot more than you do in day VFR. It's almost like an IFR light experience. So I hope you enjoy realistic general aviation content like this. If you do, be sure to click that like button, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, as always, for flying along with me, and stay tuned for further flight adventures.